What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video. This is part 3 in my Prompt Engineering for Brands series, where we'll get a little bit more advanced with our prompting. The first thing we're going to dive into is the concept of a system prompt, what it is, how to build one. And then I'm going to open up the OpenAI Playground, where we can configure several aspects of ChatGPT, including the system instructions, which model we want to use, function calls for custom actions, model configuration, user prompts, and more. I'm going to open up the OpenAI Playground and show you specific examples on camera from scratch, in addition to breaking down screenshots of the different user interfaces so I can draw all over this whiteboard and explain some of these more complex concepts in simple ways with bright colors that are easy to understand. Speaking of whiteboards, if you want access to all of my whiteboards, PDFs, and slides, including the one in this video, get access at the link in the description. At the end of the last video, we put all of these prompt structuring techniques together to create a really powerful clothing brand assistant system prompt, which we're now going to use today in this video. If you're unfamiliar with a system prompt, all it is a set of instructions that tells the AI how to behave, what kind of language to use, and what role to play in the conversation. The AI then uses these instructions to shape its responses. Imagine this emoji as ChatGPT with no system prompt. It's not wearing any special outfit and is pretty general. However, if we give ChatGPT a musician system prompt, it will act more like a musician and cater its responses to you as if you were a musician as well. The system prompt could help ChatGPT act like a web security assistant, identifying any potential gaps in your web security to help make sure that you aren't leaking any information like your email or your phone number. A teacher system prompt will frame ChatGPT to act more like a teacher. And if you specify what subject that you're interested in studying, you can include that in the prompt as well. A chef system prompt will make ChatGPT know to talk specifically about recipes for food. A science system prompt will frame ChatGPT to focus on science, mathematics, and related fields. But I want to create a system prompt that's specific for my clothing brand, and my audience is predominantly clothing brand owners. So I want to set up a system prompt that frames my ChatGPT as an expert assistant for clothing brand owners, offering insights into fabrics, garment design, technical specifications, and sustainable practices. Because that is what I want the AI to act as, I put that information at the top of the prompt in the purpose section. Remember from the last video, we're going to use markdown format to structure our prompt, or basically give the AI a template to follow. Hashtag 1 represents a main idea, so we have the purpose right at the beginning, establishing the role for the AI. In addition to a purpose, I gave it a goal, which is to enhance creative and informed decision making throughout the design and production process. Next, I established the core functions, represented by an additional single hashtag. Within the core functions idea, we have 6 sub-ideas, represented by double hashtags. Each double hashtag represents one core function that the AI will follow. These core functions include fabric knowledge and education, design recommendations, sustainability advice, technical design support, sourcing and supplier suggestions, prototyping and testing, with 2 sub-bullets for each sub-idea, giving the AI specific examples of what to say and how to act. Next, I established the tone and style, represented by this next main hashtag, where I instruct the AI to be professional and friendly, as well as supportive and practical, letting the AI know that I appreciate clear, actionable advice. Next, we have best practices for user guidance, user input guidelines, and model output guidelines. I instructed the model to keep responses unique and free of repetition, to never mention that it is an AI, to ask for more details if one of my questions is unclear or ambiguous, and to make sure that it does not confabulate or make up things on the fly. I wanted to keep responses concise and without filler at a 1500 character max. Okay, so these system instructions, or this system prompt, acts like the brain for whenever we open a new chat, as long as we provide the chat with the system instructions. Let me pull up the OpenAI Playground and show you exactly what I'm talking about. Here's the Playground. We are in the chat tab. To reach this, go to platform.openai.com/playground/chat. It might be a little overwhelming at first, but it's actually very simple. So I'm going to break everything down. The system instructions here is where you put the system prompt. Let's copy and paste our entire system prompt here. I'll go back to the playground and paste the system instructions. Now, anytime I message this chat, it's going to reference the system instructions first before it gives me a response. To give you a better idea, I'm going to actually delete the system instructions and type in a message related to fashion. I'll look at the response. Then I'll put the clothing brand assistant system instructions into this chat and ask it the same question to show you the difference in responses. So again, with no system prompt, we're just going to say, I'm planning on releasing a new clothing collection. The concept is business casual. I'm thinking of creating 6 pieces. Based on your expertise in the fashion industry, what 6 pieces would you recommend I manufacture to maximize my profit margins? The collection will be released in springtime. Okay, a generic prompt, no real structuring, no system instructions. Let's see what happens. Okay, so the assistant is now giving us 6 product ideas: a tailored blazer, a button-down shirt, a chic sheath dress, that's a tongue twister, versatile trousers, cardigan or light sweater, stylish midi skirt. Okay, not bad. Now let's clear this and then add the system instructions. I pasted the system prompt in, and then I'll put the user prompt in, which is just the prompt that we send to the AI, and I'll see what happens. Press Command Return, Tehran. Okay, so this is now giving me 5 similar items. We still have a blazer and trousers, but now I'm getting more information and suggestions about fabrics and colors, specifically sustainable fabrics like organic cotton and tencel. This output also gave me a benefit of using a stretch cotton or a blend because this will provide flexibility and all-day wearability. The last output was not giving me practical examples, so I'd say this is much better. This output is giving me suggestions about the actual design elements, like the neckline of the garment. With sustainable fabrics like lyocell, which is the same as tencel. Tencel is just a brand name for lyocell. And here are more design suggestions, like adding a belt option for cinching the waist of this dress. Overall, I'd say that adding the system instructions made the output of this prompt much better. But there are other parameters that we can mess around with as well, so I'll cover those. Starting with the model. So as you can see here in the screenshot and here in the playground, you can change the model on the right-hand side. All of the different ChatGPT models that you can access with the API are available here. The newer models like GPT-4o generally produce responses that are more coherent, context-aware, and nuanced than older versions like GPT 3.5. In other words, the newer models are just smarter than the older models. We're going to skip specifically using and creating code for functions in this video, but just to give you a little bit of idea of what that button does. Functions allow you to connect ChatGPT to external APIs, just a way to have 2 softwares talk to each other. In this case, we would have ChatGPT talking to, let's say, a make.com automation or an RSS feed. A function call can also retrieve live data like the inventory status from Shopify, can automate tasks like sending a customer order confirmation via email, and it can access external information sources like I was just saying, whether that's an RSS feed or an automation on make.com. Model configuration is pretty straightforward. The temperature controls the randomness in responses. Higher values closer to 1 produce more creative or varied outputs, while lower values make responses more focused and straightforward. And then the maximum length just sets a cap on the response length, limiting the numbers of tokens. Tokens are represented by words or characters. So that is model configuration, where you can set the temperature and the maximum length with these sliders. Top P is also very simple. All it does is controls the diversity of the AI's responses by limiting the range of words that it considers when generating a response. So think of Top P as like the AI choosing from a bag of words that it then sends to you. With a high Top P, like 0.9, The AI considers more words in the bag to make its response, but can use more interesting or creative words and ideas. The answer might be fun and varied, but sometimes a bit unpredictable. If you use a low top P, the AI only picks from the most obvious words in the bag. The response is more straightforward and predictable. It might feel simpler and to the point, but less exciting. And then we already talked about this a little bit, but there's a user prompt, which is the actual question, instruction, or request that you give to an AI after the system prompt has been set. So, like you can see here, we set the system prompt or the system instructions at the top, and then we triggered the AI with a user message down here at the bottom. GPT-4o is a multimodal model, which means it can see photos if you send it an image, read your text, and actually speak to you as well. Let's test uploading an image to this chat with the Clothing Brand Assistant system instructions. So I'm going to take a mock-up of a button-down shirt that I drew. I'm going to put it in the chat and then I'll discuss with the chat. Here I'll take the screenshot. I'll upload the image by pressing this button. I added the screenshot. Now let's type our user prompt. This is a mock-up drawing that I made in Figma for a button-down shirt. I want to include this in the next collection. I am going to focus on menswear, so keep your suggestions specific to menswear. Okay, maybe we can structure this prompt a little bit, put a hashtag here for a main idea, and then I'll add 2 hashtags for a sub idea, and I'll say, what materials do you suggest for creating this shirt? The product I was inspired by uses a heavy cotton twill material for a similar style. I want to utilize a similar material, but I need to make sure that the fabric is sustainable. Sustainable practices are important for my brand's mission, and sustainability matters to my customers. And now the assistant is giving me suggestions. For your button-down shirt design, you can achieve a similar structure and feel to heavy cotton twill while emphasizing sustainability. Here are a few fabric suggestions. Organic cotton twill. Look for a GOTS certified organic cotton twill. It's eco-friendly and retains the durability and texture you're aiming for. Hemp cotton blend. Mix of hemp and organic cotton provides a textured, durable fabric that also offers micro properties of breathability. Recycle cotton twill, and then Tencel. So I like Tencel. I've made products with Tencel before. So now I can take this list and reach out to my manufacturer to see if they can source these fabrics for me. Okay, so let's try sending that exact same image with the exact same prompt again. But this time let's mess around with the model configuration. Okay, so I added the screenshot and the same prompt, but let's change the temperature up to, let's say, 191 with 4,000 max tokens and just see what happens. Okay, so now it's getting crazy. There are so many different languages here. It's super random. Oh my god, wow. And the output is extremely long because the max tokens is set over 4,000. So let's stop this. There's no use in me continuing to read that. Pretty crazy. We'll put the temperature back down to 1. Actually leave it at 0.9. And we'll reset the max tokens to default. Now let's check out the Assistants tab here on the left. The chat interface and the Assistants interface are very similar, and they're both 2 ways of working within the OpenAI Playground. The chat interface is basically the same as ChatGPT if you were just to use the ChatGPT app or the ChatGPT web UI, while the Assistants tab or the Assistants API is set up with more structured roles and tasks. Here you can configure a specific assistant to perform particular functions, like we were talking about before, or maybe it periodically scrapes an RSS feed or triggers a make.com automation. And you can call the assistant via an API from pretty much any application. If you're unfamiliar with API calling, that is totally okay. One thing that the Assistants tab has that the Chat tab does not is a section for tools here. So you can upload specific files that the AI can reference. For example, you can upload a list of contacts with emails and phone numbers. That way, anytime you need to look up something about someone or get their contact information, the assistant can grab that info for you just by searching within the Excel spreadsheet that's been attached. Code Interpreter enables the assistant to write and run code, which we're not going to be using today. And then we'll cover function calling in a later video as well. But just to give a very basic walkthrough, we can name our assistant something like clothing brand, personal assistant. We can set the system instructions here, choose our model, and change the configuration here as well. The real-time voice assistant is the newest feature out of the playground. Just like with the chat and the assistants panel, we can add our system instructions. Instead of changing the model, we can change the voice. We can still configure the model with temperature and max tokens, but now we can also adjust the threshold, prefix padding, and silence duration. The threshold controls the sensitivity to sound, lower values capture quieter sounds, and higher values reduce background noise. The prefix padding adds time before detected speech starts and ensures that no words are cut off in the beginning. And the silence duration sets the pause length before considering speech complete. Shorter values detect end of speech quickly, longer values allow natural pauses. So that way you might get caught up on your words and you might be trying to work out a thought in your head before you speak it to the AI. If the silence duration is set to be a long value before it cuts you off and just starts speaking on its own. So let's actually mess around with the real-time voice assistant. I set our system instructions here. It's the same system instructions from before. This is our clothing brand assistant. I'll keep the voice on Echo.
What's up? This is Echo. I'm just another friendly voice. Always down to chat.
We'll keep the max tokens above 4K, which is the default for the real-time voice assistant. So now that this assistant is framed to help clothing brand owners, let's start it up and have a chat. Hey, so I want to launch a new product for Pathos of Things, which is my clothing brand. My idea for the product is a button-down shirt with custom logo embroidery all over the shirt, and I want to use some kind of heavy cotton twill fabric, but I want to make sure that the fabric I choose is sustainable because that is within the brand ethos and is really important for my customers. Can you help me with that?
Absolutely. A heavy cotton twill is a fantastic choice for a button-down shirt, especially if you're aiming for durability and a structured look. For a sustainable option, organic cotton twill is grown without synthetic pesticides or fertilizers, making it a more environmentally friendly option. Organic cotton also tends to use less water than conventionally grown cotton.
So this is something where I could just start the session and talk for an hour with the real-time voice assistant. This process is way faster than just going back and forth typing because you're not limited by how fast you can type. Okay, and the last topic that we are going to cover today is the custom GPT. So think of the custom GPT like an assistant with its own specific custom instructions, role, knowledge base, and capabilities or tools like web search. It can generate images, run and write code, allows function calling, but instead of calling it functions, the custom GPT calls it creating a new action. Creating a new action uses JSON format to structure data and make function calls on your behalf. Again, the example I keep using is scraping an RSS feed or triggering a make.com automation. I have a video about how I built a custom make.com automation that scrapes RSS feeds from all of my favorite clothing brands and then emails me a summary of all the latest news articles related to those brands so I stay in the loop. I highly recommend checking that video out. It will give you a much better idea of make.com automations. Let's go ahead and make a new custom GPT. I'll go over here to my GPT, press create a GPT, and then it brings us to this configuration screen where we can set many of the parameters similarly to the way that we did in the playground. Let's name this clothing brand assistant. This GPT assists the user with tasks related to designing clothes and running a fashion brand. For the instructions, we will copy and paste our system prompt. For knowledge, I uploaded the image of the shirt that I want to make. We'll enable all the capabilities, and then we'll leave actions blank for now. Okay, and that's it. I created the GPT, so let's go to View GPT. And here we have the clothing brand assistant made by me. This GPT assists the users with tasks related to designing clothes and running a fashion brand. Let's try putting in the same user prompt that we used before. Instead of saying this is a mock-up drawing, I'm going to say access the mock-up drawing in your knowledge base that I made in Figma. Now, instead of uploading the file directly into this chat, it already has the file in its backend because we uploaded the file when we were making the GPT. So I'll press send and see what happens. Access the file. Notice that it is a menswear button-down shirt, and then gave me 5 different examples of fabrics that I can discuss with my manufacturer. Let's say I really like the linen cotton twill blend. Then I'll dive into this a little bit further. Maybe I'll do a little bit more research on it, look up some articles about this type of fabric, get a better understanding, and then I will reach out to my manufacturer and say, hey, for the button-down shirt that we're making, I want to use a linen cotton twill blend. Can you source this fabric for me? They'll say either, no, we can't do that, or they'll say, sure, we'll check it out. We'll reach out to a fabric mill. We'll try to find it. 9 out of 10 times, the manufacturer is going to reach out to a fabric mill and find the fabric that you are looking for. If you are trying to make a custom fabric, that's a different story. But if these fabrics exist already, it should be pretty easy to find. All right, and there is one more way that we can utilize system instructions for ChatGPT, and those are through custom instructions. If you go into your settings and press personalization, you can access your custom instructions there. So this is what that looks like. I'm going to come up here, go to customize ChatGPT, and then it pulls up the panel. Another way that I could do that is go into my settings, press personalization, and then go to custom instructions here. As you can see, I have the custom instructions on. From here, you can input 2 prompts. In my opinion, these are just 2 sections of the same system prompt. The first section says, what would you like ChatGPT to know about you to provide better responses? And then the second section says, how would you like ChatGPT to respond? I turned on the GPT-4 capabilities for my entire account. So as long as I'm using GPT-4 or GPT-4o, I'm able to search the web, generate images, and write and execute code all from within ChatGPT. These custom instructions apply to every single new chat, except for those within a custom GPT. Because a custom GPT has its own set of system instructions, those will bypass the custom instructions set at the account level. If you are not using a custom GPT and you're just using the regular ChatGPT, I highly suggest you have these custom instructions on for every single chat. These are my specific custom instructions. I'm going to show you my entire prompt. Feel free to use mine or make variations, but I've been using this specific set of custom instructions for over a year, and I think it's perfect. So for the section where it prompts me to let ChatGPT know more about myself, I added this prompt here in purple. I use markdown format, so #1 profession role. I am the owner of a fashion brand called Pathos of Things. It is a luxury streetwear brand based in Los Angeles. I design all the clothes, creative direct the visual media, do all the digital marketing, email marketing, and media buying. And then I provided a link to the website. I'm also a professional music producer. I create music in Ableton and can produce, mix, and master a record. I'm sure most of the people watching my channel don't know that about me, but I did in fact go to college for music and worked professionally in the music industry for a long time. Current projects or challenges. Currently, I'm trying to grow both of the companies I work for by seeking knowledge related to fashion, music, and marketing, and then applying that knowledge to my work. Specific interests. I am passionate about fashion, marketing, and music. Values and principles. I value transparency and believe in making data-driven decisions. Learning style. I learn best by doing and thrive on real-world applications of theory. Personal background. I'm located in Los Angeles and grew up in New York. I have formal music education. Goals. My immediate goal is to become an expert in all the fields I work in. Specialized knowledge. I specialize in digital advertising, fashion design, and music production. Educational background. I have a bachelor's degree in music business. Communication style. I am friendly yet professional, and I appreciate clear, concise communication. Boom. So that is part 1. Then for part 2, which defines how GPT will respond to me, I wrote 1. Keep responses unique and free of repetition. 2. Never mention that you are an AI. 3. If a question is unclear or ambiguous, ask for more details to confirm your understanding before answering. 4. Use a first principle systems thinking approach to help me solve complex problems and distill information for clear understanding of the topic we're discussing. Consider both short-term and long-term implications. Avoid any language constructs that could be interpreted as expressing remorse, apology, or regret. Provide questions to ponder that stimulate strategic thinking and creativity. Cite sources when possible. Offer thoughtful insights and perspectives, showing a nuanced understanding of all concepts we discuss together. I welcome innovative ideas that challenge conventional approaches. Provide multiple perspectives. Please avoid favoring one narrative or strategy over another without valid reasons. Challenge all preconceived notions. If a mistake is made in a previous response, recognize and correct it. Avoid language that is typical of certain LLMs. This one is super important because I find that ChatGPT has very specific language that it uses. Like it'll say, let's delve into this topic, or when talking about a certain time period, like modern times, it might say, in today's digital age, you need to do XYZ, and I think it's super corny and super fluffy. So I hard prompt into my custom instructions for the LLM to never say language like that. So that is it for part 3. We covered a lot. We discussed systems prompts, the chat interface, assistance API, real-time voice assistant, and custom GPTs within the OpenAI infrastructure. We discussed custom instructions, and I showed you my exact custom prompts that I use for my custom instructions on my ChatGPT account. We scratched the surface on function calling and APIs. In future videos, we'll discuss more about custom function calling, make.com automations, N8N automations. We'll build some really practical applications to help assist with running a clothing brand specifically. If you're looking forward to more content like that, please subscribe. It helps me so much. If you want to get access to this document, the link to all of my whiteboards, documents, PDFs, and slides is in the description. If there's a topic you'd like me to cover in a future video, please leave a comment, and I'll see you in the next one.